crazy, but you know what I mean. So you get it all mixed up in the sport of college football, and you can't just think that somebody's just going to transition and make that transition smoothly because it don't happen like that all the time, and the lack of development going around matters. It matters. It just does. It matters. And we'll football talk, football talk. Hey, yo. Welcome to the Fans Point of View. I'm your host, Truckin' Chubby. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and Twitch, Twitter too, and here on YouTube. I'm bringing to you the football news. The dudes don't know what to do, knock you out your shoes. Now he wanna be looking at me like he got a clue, but I'ma stick to it like a motherfucking glue, and I'ma get to it to y'all. It's all true. The football news, me no crew. Hey, what it do? Hey, yeah, I'm Chubby Chub. I'm coming in the game, raw dog, no rub. Oh baby, I like it raw. Oh baby, I like it raw. Pause. Jump on the big nigga, go off. All on her ass like a motherfucking draws. And then in the game, baby, you don't know the dude looking at me like you silly homeboy. You too. Stick to it. Make a move. I'm bringing it to you. And it's true. The football news. Hey, what it do? We going off and we got the crew. Hey, yo. What it do? Just messing with us, you know what I mean? Feeling the mic, feeling the beat, little bit. Y'all can say what you want. I know. You whack. Man, dudes be writing stuff like that down. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going. You know what I'm saying? You feel me? They told me I couldn't rap anyway, but so what? I don't give a damn. I love doing it. But what's up with y'all though, man? What's going on, man? Welcome, you know what I'm saying? Welcome to the Fans Point of View podcast. I am your host, Truckin' Chubby. It's nature X's and O's, the coaches and pros. This is the Fans Point of View and what we know. Let's go. All right, man. So Tyreek Hill is not, he's released. He's released. Jeez, he's released. I don't know. I know he's used to releasing. I heard my man got 10 kids. Like, he's used to releasing, all right. Nah, but Tyreek Hill being released, I think, look, he's gonna be a sought after wide receiver. There's look, you could say whatever you want about Tyreek Hill. There's a lot of things to knock about Tyreek Hill, to not like about Tyreek Hill outside of football. But if we're talking a game of football, this dude is different. He's just different. Look, I wish he played tougher, but he protects his body, but I wish he played tougher like Steve Smith played. That would make him mean and nasty, but he's an all-around receiver. I mean, he beat you downfield with his moves. He has elite route running. We know that. That's a fact. That's, you know what I mean? He still got speed. There's still some tread on those tires. Now, I don't know if it's going to be there still after this injury, though. So that's the question for me. Like, that's the thing with me with Tyreek Hill. Like, I don't know if there's still going to be tread on those tires after the fact. You know what I'm saying? Or what's going on with him right now. This injury that took place. But they released him. You know what I'm saying? They like, look, man, you know what I mean? You going through it. Obviously, the medical reports, there got to be something with the medical reports. I would assume that would be the logical thing to think, that there's something going on with those medical reports with Tyreek Hill, saying the fact that he has decided to cut ways and part ways with him, right? That's what you would think. I mean, logically, you know, but we really don't know if that is in fact true. You know what I mean? So it's just a hypothesis, a educated guess based on the clues that we have seen and everything we have been through, right? That's a good way to put it. You know what I'm saying? That's it. But it says here from ESPN, this is a couple days ago. I'm late on it, but you know what I'm saying? There's no such thing as being late, but always great. You know what I'm saying? Like a wine, age, fine in time. You feel me? Anyhow, I don't think it go that way. I think it's like a fine wine. You age well with time. That's how it goes. That's the rhyme. Oh, all right, whatever. Yeah. But anyhow, yeah. So he says, breaking the 8-time Pro Bowler, Pro Bowl wide receiver Tyreek Hill is being released by the Miami Dolphins. Sources confirmed to Adam Schefter. His relief will save the Dolphins around $22.8 million against the salary cap. Great breaking news alerts from Adam Schefter throughout ESPN app, ESPN.smart.link, whatever. But that's just ESPN just, saying that that's pretty much what they did there. And Adam Schefter was the guy who got that. So do I think that he would fit great in Pittsburgh? For the right price. I think so. I think DK and Tyreek Hill, 2 veteran receivers, would be great. I would love it. But what moves do the Pittsburgh Steelers, as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, what moves do we actually make? You know what I mean? And I want to, talk about the NFL, but I've also got to start with my Steelers, right? Because I'm a Steelers fan, so that's always where I'm gonna go with it. And I'll get into other teams as I'm going on. If I forget your team, put your team down in the comments, and I'll try to, put them in there, especially the people who support. And I constantly see your name, I'll try to get you, get to your team. But and give my take on them. But I think that what moves do we actually make and we go to as a Pittsburgh Steelers fan? So I think that we can go receiver. I don't know. His price tag is going to be high. I think he wants to go somewhere and win. I think Pittsburgh fits the bill for Tyreek. It's a contender. You know what I mean? Especially with having a veteran quarterback coming back like Aaron Rodgers. But that's the problem. That's the holdup with Pittsburgh. And if I'm a veteran receiver, I think that's the holdup, right? So if I'm thinking about this and trying to think about this in all ways, player, GM, fan, and trying to combine all three and see, where's the best option, where to pick from, which basket am I picking from to talk about these points here, right? And right now, I'm thinking as an NFL player going to a franchise, I don't know who the quarterback is. If it's Will Howard, a young rookie quarterback in his first year, starting rookie quarterback with no NFL experience, 6th-round pick. He is a national championship. I'm thinking about, and he has won the national championship. The dude look all right. He can all right. He can throw the ball. He could throw this ball. Okay, I think he could. Yeah, I don't know if he could quite throw that one, and I like that particular route, or however that might go. As an NFL receiver, right? And but looking at it like that and saying, I don't know who the quarterback is simply for the Pittsburgh Steelers. I don't know if I want to go to Pittsburgh because they're having quarterback drama, and I don't really know who's going to be my quarterback in Pittsburgh. So that may X out a lot of veteran receivers or any receiver in free agency going, right? Okay, so you're like, all right, boom, that's out of the deal. So what moves do we make? If we're gonna make a move, I think it got to be for Rick Woolen. I think Rick Woolen got to be the guy that we got to be looking for out of free agency from the Seattle Seahawks, the cornerback. I think we got to go there. And here's why. And here's why with that, because I think I do think that Rick Woolen is a guy who he's aggressive enough. Him and JPJ that's a solid base to start at with corner, and then that opens up us going for a receiver in the first round and trying to grab one of those top guys, and maybe even moving up a little bit earlier and trying to secure Mekhi Lemon in the first round. Because if you're not getting, and I'm gonna repeat this to a lot of people, and I've been saying this now for the past 3 weeks, but it's not reaching enough people for some reason. Well, I know, but you know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. But if it's not Mekhi Lemon or Jordan Tyson in this draft at receiver, I think you're getting relatively the same guy. You're not getting a huge separation in receiver after those two. You know what I mean? Zachariah Branch, Omar Cooper, and Kevin Concepcion. They had their ceiling is really high. You know what I mean? They can turn into some dynamic receivers in the NFL. Those guys can. Zachariah Branch with that speed, if he stays healthy, and he's used in the right system, he can flourish tremendously. Kevin Concepcion, he's right there at that height. I think Deion Burks can do it. He did think he could turn up. But right now, guys who's ready to come in and provide it and some production to an NFL offense, Jordan Tyson and Mekhi Lemon, they're on that first level. They're on that first level. They're on the A level right now. That's just what it is going in. Now, do I think Denzel Boston is a good fit for the Pittsburgh Steelers right now? Because I've been seeing that floating around. I think Denzel Boston is a possession guy. I think we got the best possession guy in the NFL right now on the team. If that's what you want me to be honest. I mean, DK Metcalf, yeah, he'll drop some. You know what I mean? You want your possession guy to particularly be able to catch and hold on. But I mean, DK, he'll drop some, but DK can also take that simple that curl, 10-yard curl, 5-yard curl to the crib, a 5-yard slant to the crib. He got the speed to do that. And I don't think all these young receivers have that in them. I don't think Denzel Boston's going to take a simple slant to the crib in the NFL. Now, you know what I mean? If it's everything gets set up the way that it's supposed to work on the offense, I think so. But DK can break tackles. I just don't see that in him just yet, right? I think if you look up, if you're going to go that route, then I think we can wait for the guy until I don't know yet, but because the draft still hasn't came up yet. But Cameron Johnson from Baylor, big guy. If you're going to go possession, you might as well go possession. He's a guy who has incredible ball vision because he played the running back position. But is he 225? He's running with the best of them. You know what I mean? He doesn't outran corners, so his speed is there. So he's not slow. Possession guy, his body there. I think he's 6'1" or something like that. 225. You know what I mean? Got Chris Bell's also a guy like that from Louisville. So I mean, there and Denzel Boston, he's great at 50-50 and catching in traffic, but so aren't those guys. And that's what I'm saying. Like, and then you got what is it, Mekhi Nelson, I think, from Notre Dame. I always messed up his name, or Nelson Mekhi, whatever. But you got those guys, and it's all in the same bracket as receiver. It's such a deep class, and that's why I said I think it just really comes down to who's smart and who really can just wow you with their play. And Jordan Tyson and Mekhi Lemon are those guys who can do that. I think by far Jordan Tyson has made some contested catches in college football that's our jaw dropping. I hope that it translates over to the NFL, and I think that it can, because he got crazy hops. He can attack the ball at the highest point. Contested catching like nobody else. Speed is there. And I think just the way that he catches the ball, like, it's just like nobody can make some of those catches. It's like crazy. You know what I mean? And that, granted, a lot of these guys probably can, but I think a lot of them are the same guy. Like Jeremy Bernard and Denzel Boston are the same guy to me. You know what I mean? Like, there's really not that much of a separation there besides maybe a couple of inches in height. And that's it. But I mean, I think those are you're getting a lot of the same guys. So it comes down to who's smarter, who's smarter, who knows how to sit in these zones. And I think this is what NFL teams are going to be looking at, right? Because they're much more qualified than me to talk about it. But I know if that's what I'm looking at in the draft, I'm pretty sure that they're looking at that plus much more. Feet work, separation, and breaking tackles is huge for wide receivers. That's going to be huge, and that's going to be key. And I think if you're looking for a guy like that, and if we're going to go another possession guy in the draft, let's go ahead and go with Cameron Johnson from Baylor. You know what I mean? I think it's a great pick, man. I think that's an awesome pick. It's a guy that's versatile, that can be used in multiple ways in the offense. You know what I mean? You can put him in the backfield. You can get two positions for one. in the same offense. So there's different sub packages you can use with Johnson from Baylor, rather than just keeping them in a simple, slot, or you can move them out to the X, Y, whatever. You know what I'm saying? However you want to set up to create a mismatch. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm talking about. X. I'm not talking about him being an X receiver. I'm talking about simply putting him there to create a mismatch. You know what I'm saying? Now, all the time, an X has to play the X. The X can go in the inside, play the Z. Why is that? Because, it creates mismatch. It makes the defensive scheme, it plays with the defense's mind. They may be in a particular scheme. They might have to change that just for him. They may be in man. Now they may drop the zone because they don't know what's going on. They may be in the zone and you force them into man by just simply playing around and moving, certain positions around. And I think that's a great guy to have on your offense, to be honest. Because he did play back at Baylor. He had early on, and then I think he moved over to right receiver, and that's great. To have that as a receiver, ball vision is everything. Vision, while your ball carrying vision is a lot. Believe it or not, that's the difference between getting, when it's 3rd and 7 and you catch a 3-yard pass, and being able to pick up the extra 4 yards just from simply vision. You know what I mean? That's a lot. That means a lot, man. It really does. And I think sometimes people may overlook those small attributes in a player that can make a player excel over the rest. But nonetheless, I think that's a great guy to grab. But once again, it comes down to who's going to be the quarterback. Where do we go? You know what I'm saying? What moves are we being made? And it's still early. It's still February, so we still got some time to hear. But I hope we would know by the draft who's going to be the quarterback in this. And the reason I'm being is because where moves do we make in the draft? Where do we go? You know what I mean? Because, like, once again, like I said, I don't think that we can afford to pass on a top tier cornerback at 21, because I do honestly think that Denzel Boston, Mekhi Lemon, Cornell Tate, um, I think even Jeremy Bernard, but Jordan Tyson, those guys are going to be taken before the 21st pick. There's a lot of teams who can use a receiver, and that is going to go get their guys. And remember, we have all our division opponents picking ahead of us, and they all need receivers too. The Bengals need more. They need safety, and they should be more focused on getting Caleb Downs at their pick, because they missed on the South Carolina safety that just won the Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. They missed on him this year. Could have helped that defense a whole lot. But they go with Caleb Downs. I don't think that they can afford to pass on Caleb Downs. But remember, we have a lot of opponents that are picking before us. Got the Cleveland Browns, Cincinnati Bengals, and it's all a chess game. It's all a chess game. And then let's just say, for some odd reason, some crazy reason, we've seen drafts go ways that we didn't think of, right? Like, let's just be honest. Nobody thought that Shedeur was going to go to the 5th round. You know what I mean? 3rd round at best. At best, you know what I'm saying? We didn't see him go in the 1st round. We like, all right, he definitely going to like the second or third round. You know what I mean? We ain't see him go in the 2nd. We like, oh, okay, they feeling team needs, but he's definitely going in the 3rd round. We like 3rd round, like, damn, like, okay, that's crazy. So we've seen things happen in a draft that are, and it wasn't just him. A quarterback who won a national championship got drafted in the 6th round. So just, you know what I mean? It just wasn't him. But what I'm getting at here is just saying, the draft is based on team needs and sometimes best available. And then sometimes it's just a chess match. It's just playing chess. It's the one time a year where these owners get to play a different game with each other. Like, this is another game, a mini game within the game for these owners, right? And these GMs. Now they get to play chess with each other. They set up the chess board. They got their draft board. They set it up. Okay, if I know the Steelers need a wide receiver, but the Browns also need a receiver too, right? Because they kind of got their quarterback going on. They don't know who's going to be the starter, but all 3 guys are, pretty decent. So they can get whatever guy, that they want to throw in there, but they need more help with Isaiah Bonds, especially with Harold Fannin Jr. stepping up the way he did as a true receiving tight end, to the point where Njoku's like, okay, I can move on. There's another guy here who's very productive. He's young and he can do a lot. You know what I mean? So With that being said, like those, I'll snatch a receiver just to keep away from Pittsburgh, knowing that I need other team needs, but I might just take this receiver because Pittsburgh was interested in him and force them to go to the receiver who they had on their board, but was maybe a second tier on the board. And whether what do you want to go with a second tier receiver in the first round, or do you want to go with a top tier DB in the first round and grab like a Caleb Downs? You know what I'm saying? Like for some odd reason, if he slipped the 21st pick, did we pass on Caleb Downs? Absolutely not. If Caleb Downs falls in our lap at 21, which won't happen, probably, you know what I'm saying, which won't happen, but we've seen crazier things happen. But if it did happen for some reason, we can't pass on him. Just like I honestly do not think that we can pass on a cornerback, on a top tier cornerback. We can't do that in the first round. We can't. We cannot afford to do that. Like really, some of us out here may be even arguing we may not even be able to pass on a top tier defensive lineman in the first round at 21, because everybody, if everybody is picking around and there's a top tier defensive lineman there at 21, and I'm talking top tier, we got to go with him. We like a top tier defensive guy. We have to go with him. We have to in the first round. If the Pittsburgh Steelers fan, we can't afford to pass on them. But I think we should go corner first. I think, especially for right now, why Cam Hayward, he's given us one more year. I think we'll be able to pick up one next year. I do honestly think that. But so I think a cornerback is more important right now because we want to win right now. So I think you got to get a corner, and you might want to go young there, but we may get Reek Woolen. If we get Reek Woolen out of free agency, then that does free up, you know what I'm saying, us being able to go and get a top tier defensive lineman, right? And then maybe we can go get Kyle Lewis, linebacker from Pitt, and maybe or Jacob Rodriguez in the third. I like those guys. Because I don't think those guys, as time goes on, those guys' value are going to start moving up. They showed Kyle Lewis by far showed out the best at the Senior Bowl. When he runs his 40 and when they go to the combine, it's only going to go up. His vertical and everything else, it's just going to make him more and move up on people's boards and say, you know what, I got to get this guy early. And I think that him and Jacob Rodriguez is going to move up on the board for sure at linebacker. But the guy that I'm really sold on is, I think Chandler Rivers and D'Angelo Pons are awesome. I think they're great. I really do. Shout out to T Cal. Because a lot of film he had on him, and me getting to watch these guys are only not talked about in the first round because they're below 5'10". That's the only reason why these guys are not talking about going in the first round. But technically, when you're picking that 20 and back in the draft, you're kind of in the second round, dog. You're kind of early second round. Let's just call it what it is. I mean, 13 picks later, you're in the second round. From 21, and let's count from 21 actually. So from 21, 12 picks later, you're already in the second round. 12 picks after we pick at 21. So that's, you know what I mean? Like, that's right there. That's really not a reach. That's not a reach. I don't think you can't reach for anything when you're set right there. You're just set right there. And this is where we always kind of draft. And it's like, oh, the Steelers, they took a bad pick. Like, how? We're right in the middle. It's early second round. You know what I mean? Y'all projecting the guy to go second round. If we pass on him right here, we're not going to be able to get him our next pick. So we might as well get him now and then go for a receiver. And I think Elijah Surratt will be there in the second round. I honestly do. I think Elijah Surratt, Omar Cooper, they'll be there with our second pick. I don't think guys, I hope they'll be there because they're very talented. They just didn't go win a national championship because, whatever. There's a lot of talent on that Indiana Hoosier team, and we've seen it. And I'm talking NFL talent at that, because of the way that they play in these systems and with their assignments, that what they done in their systems alone makes them NFL players. These players are very smart at Indiana. They bought into their systems. They're gonna work hard. None of these guys really came out 5 stars. Um, that I've seen. I mean, maybe Fernando, he was, highly touted, but a lot of these other guys, man, they just worked and they worked hard for what they gotten. So a lot of those guys, I mean, I like Aiden Fisher at linebacker. I think his stock is going to jump up, and when he goes to the combine, but he got invited. There's teams that's interested in him because he ran a system perfect. He played in a system perfect, and that's all you really need. His run fitting was some of the best in the country. His pass coverage was okay. I think he disguised very well. He led the defense. He was a defensive caller, captain out there. So yeah, like he'll be definitely highly sought after too. A linebacker that didn't go to the Senior Bowl, but absolutely played his tail off and can play the position at a high level. So there's a lot of guys out there that you can probably sneak in there in the second round and in the third round that can still come in and plug and play. I think that we can do that with a lot of our picks if we pick correctly because the guys are out there, the talent's out there, the production and the talent is most definitely out there. We just got to go and just grab good football players. We can't get caught up into the glamour of there's 40 speeds and their heights. We just got to go and grab football players. And that's why grabbing D'Angelo Pons in the first round is absolutely, it's probably the best. Probably the best. He's probably going to be one of the best corners in the league, man. I'm just telling you, man. Just telling y'all, like, I know. I've seen it. I've actually seen somebody who broke down film, constantly talk about this guy and critique everything that he was doing. Like, and me understanding what he's able to do, like, man, he's like the guy is elite. The guy is elite. He's most definitely worth the 21st pick um in the draft. And I would take him. I would take him. I think, what I mean, had he got invited to the Senior Bowl, and I'm kind of glad he didn't because he would have showed out there. But I mean, you don't get defensive player MVP twice in the college football playoffs for no reason, bro. At corner, you just don't like he's that good. But I think we can't pass on him. That's all I'm saying. But once again, where do we go with the quarterback position? That's not, what I'm saying. That's where we're at right now. Where do we go with that particular position? Um, don't really know, but we'll find out here soon, and hopefully we do. So, you know what I mean? Because there's some guys in free agency I think that we should be getting because we can also like Romeo Dobbs because we want to win now, and I think that Mike McCarthy got kind of a short leash to win now. So you might want to think about a guy like Romeo Dobbs coming in and playing, and him getting out of free agency, him being in Green Bay, a Packer, and familiar with Aaron Rodgers, getting guys like that. We may go with all veteran receivers. So I don't know if Tyreek might be out of the question or whatever, but I hope that we go young on defense. I hope that we go young in a lot of these positions of need, especially these skill positions, so that we can have these guys around and that we're not just kind of building a transfer portal type of team in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? Get these guys young on contract. Get them young now. Give us a couple years to win, to build up some brand. You know what I mean? Get back popping and be able to pay these guys. I mean, we are one of the biggest brands in the National Football League. There's absolutely no reason why Steelers should not be playing a lot of these guys, but nonetheless, they just don't, and sometimes it just don't work out that way. So moving on, this back into like the Steelers. Well, I already just I've been on my Steelers, but to talk about the Bills and their needs, the Bills absolutely they need receivers. They need receivers, and they may even go heavy. I wouldn't be surprised if the Buffalo Bills just don't go heavy in the draft with with receivers. I'd be surprised if they just don't go heavy first round and second round, and just say screw what everybody's thinking, or if the Buffalo Bills don't try to go and make a move for Tyreek Hill. That's just what Josh Allen needs, is a guy that has sure hands, a guy who can do multiple things. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills made a move because they ain't got no problem with dropping the bag. So that's definitely not out of their area. And they'll say the Dolphins will save money, but look, the Bills, they may pick that up because they're right there. I think they're really close. A couple of receivers away from doing their thing. Think they could use more of a back that can because I mean, look, Cook, I like Cook. Cook don't he gets the job done. Don't get it twisted. Cook is one of the best backs in the league, but I just think somebody he can share the carries with that could take the brunt of things. You know what I'm saying? Get another back that can take withstand. And I think they might be looking at Katron Allen from Penn State. I think that fits the bill for them, or one of those Notre Dame running backs, to be honest. You know what I mean? I think one of the Notre Dame backs will fit the bill for the Buffalo Bills. Get a bigger guy, that could take a lot of the brunt of the run, because they need that. The Bills are missing that. And because I mean Cook, he's taken a lot of punishment back there these past couple years with being one of the best backs in the NFL, and he can continue to be, but just give him a relief guy. You know what I'm saying? Give him a nice guy, a young guy to relieve him, couple plays, and so he could come in fresh and just keep dominating. I think, but they may even be looking at Kenneth Walker. I think Kenneth Walker fits the Buffalo. I think that's real dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Kenneth Walker from the Seattle Seahawks, that's perfect right there. You know what I mean? Him and now you got two guys with NFL experience in the back, and they're ready to win. The Bills are ready to win. I think that's a good move. I don't know how Buffalo Bills fans might feel about that, but me looking at that team, I think that's a dangerous combo. Kenneth Walker and Cook in the backfield, and Josh Allen. And then they can probably go and grab, get greedy and go grab a couple of these young receivers out of the draft. They can go and get two possession guys if that's what they need, because that's all you need with Josh Allen. You don't really need speed. You just need some guys who can run routes really good and that got short hands. That's what you need. That can win, because Josh Allen's gonna get it there. So depending on your quarterback. So that I think that's the type of offense the Bills can run, and it's just methodical downfield because they got tight ends that do that. Get you a couple of those young receivers that can possession type of guys. Then like I talked about him, Chris Bell, Denzel Washington, Jeremy Bernard, any one of those type of guys, I think they also fit the Bills too. There's a lot of guys who need receivers, but this class is so deep. So where do they go? That's to the Philadelphia Eagles. I think look, Jahad Campbell, he's gonna step up. I think that defense is gonna they ain't gonna miss a beat. Where do the Eagles go? The Eagles gotta go into that's another team that's going to be probably grabbing another a receiving team, because I don't know where AJ Brown goes from here. I just don't know. Even though he came out and he kind of recanted what he said and he kind of apologized for it, his play showed otherwise. And once you show, your actions spoke louder than your words are saying. So you got to show with actions that you're going to be committed to this football team. That means that you should be the first guy in, the last guy out. Because what you put out there and displayed to the whole world is that you purposely dropped passes, you did not give your effort in the game, and you kind of went to that game and pouted like a child. So therefore, I think your actions from now forward have to show that you're all about the Philadelphia Eagles and the franchise and winning this and using your body and blocking a lot more, because you're a big guy. And that's what they need. They need a guy who's going to go in there and that's going to block most of the game, not get a lot of the, calls his way. But when your number's called, be ready. So stay warm, keep pushing somebody around, because I think that they want to use their speedier guys for the screens and the short slants, and they want to use you more for blocking and more of a decoy, and then use you to just come out of nowhere and hit him with a 30-yard bomb to take it to the house. And he hasn't bought into that role yet. So I think you might be better off with getting a young guy that can block, and that was in a run heavy type of offense in college football, who has no problem with doing that. And there's a few guys out there that fit the bill. There's a few guys out there that fit the bill. Like, I mean, they all gonna be ecstatic to be on the NFL roster, but to understand your role, like, you know what I mean? Because it opens up. The more you open up for Saquon Barkley, the more you open up for your other receivers, your tight ends, the more you're opening up for yourself. It's not about just get the ball to me, because I mean he had the chances and he dropped passes. That's just what it was. But I think that's just, we got to play selfless, and when you can do that, you win. But when you can't, you lose, and that's just, it's just that simple with the Philadelphia Eagles. I think, I mean, there's really nothing I can say, because the Eagles, they do a fantastic job. Their owner, their GM, just does a great job. Sirianni does. He's perfect. He does, like, what they do over there with the Eagles and the owner and the franchise. They do everything perfect. They always draft well, so no doubt in my mind they'll get guys in there that can be productive, and that's going to be able to produce for that team. Um, and you know, and to move forward. Now, as far as the Atlanta Falcons go, I think the Falcons, they just got to, the Falcons got to do well in the draft. The Atlanta Falcons do, if the Atlanta Falcons do well in this year's draft, it's everything for them. That's everything for the Atlanta Falcons. I can't remember exactly where they was mocked at the pick, but I'm gonna take a look at it, because this is that Daniel Jeremiah's 2026 mock draft. He does fairly well too. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't think that he's off. I think he's just an up and coming guy. A guy that'll be around for me, and while I'm doing my thing out here. So, you know, he's a guy who will be around for a while doing this thing. But the Falcons, I can't remember where they picked that. Did I already pass the Falcons? I think I did. I think I already passed the Falcons. I think where they picking at? They picking in the top 10, right? Um, uh, they don't even, do they pick in the first round? The Falcons don't even pick. They don't pick in the first round, huh? That's crazy. I don't think they don't have a first round pick, huh? They got to trade and get, they got to trade up into the first round. I'm thinking, huh? Or they got a late pick because they did trade. Let's see, just to make sure. I just want to make sure, because I think, yeah, they don't even pick in the first round. So, um, yeah, the Falcons don't pick in the first round. So maybe, and they can't afford to trade Bijan. They can't afford. They got to keep Bijan around. They got some of the good pass rushers. Unfortunate what James Pierce did, putting his hand on women. You got to learn early. That's not the way to go, bro. But like, so I don't. They just got to do well in the draft, man. I think they got guys. I don't know who's evaluating the talent over there in Atlanta, but I would question them. Why hasn't Nick Nash hit the field over there? That don't make sense to me. Nick Nash for San Jose State, the receiver, was one of the best wide receivers in the country, even above Travis Hunter, the Heisman winner. Stats were better, but he went on there, the team as an undrafted rookie free agent, made the team for the Atlanta Falcons, but never seen the field. Not one time. And that's kind of confusing to me. So I don't really know what's going on with the Falcons. Don't know what they're going to do. A lot of Falcons fan, shout out to Motivated Dedicated, told me that they'll probably be average, but I like the Falcons. I like them. So she's living in Atlanta for 7 years, 6, 7 years. So look, I root for the Falcons. So I want to see them do good. Hopefully the A can get it together in the draft, make some good decisions in the draft. Because they got to, because they're really forced to with their picks that they do have, and take it and go from there. Because look, they were a couple games out this year, again, very close, always right there, but never really able to get it. If I'm the Falcons, I'm trying to inquire on Mike Tomlin. I think that's a great fit, a great city for a guy like Mike Tomlin. I think that's the perfect city for Mike Tomlin. It is Atlanta, Georgia. To be honest with you, I lived in Atlanta for years. I think Mike Tomlin will be embraced in Atlanta. I think he'll be very successful in Atlanta in the NFC. And that's who the Falcons are waiting on. They gotta be waiting on Mike Tomlin. I wouldn't care. The minute Mike Tomlin becomes available, I'm firing whoever's there. No disrespect. No disrespect. But I'm getting Mike Tomlin to Atlanta, Georgia. If I'm the Falcons, I'm getting Mike Tomlin there. And yeah, because he's gonna be a problem. And then he's gonna build Atlanta into what they need done. I think that fits his mold. Regardless of all the rumors and what he can't do and what he lets go on and what blah blah blah. No, that's the move. That is the move for Mike Tomlin, building up the Atlanta Falcons, getting them to a promise. And because they got a lot of young talent on that team. They got to. They got a lot of young talent, and there's a lot to get into in Atlanta. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot. So it's a whole lot. But moving on. Now, before I get on up out of here, I think I talked about pretty much everything. The Bears, they want to go back to defensive line again. They just want to load up and stack up, but I think they'll be okay where they're at. The Buffalo Bills looking at trying to get Mekhi Fields from Notre Dame. I think that's a great pick for them. Like I said, like a possession guys. Like I said that, I think that's all they need. Like they don't need, you know what I mean? They don't really need speedsters. You know what I'm saying? They just get a couple of guys who can catch the ball, decent speed, and because Josh Allen gonna get it to you wherever he at. His arm is his cannon is like I don't think nobody throws the ball with that type of velocity in the NFL that Josh Allen has. I don't think so. I do not think so. And he got it. But there's a quarterback in the NFL that people keep forgetting about. He slips under the radar because I think he's kind of looked at as a backup quarterback now because of his touchdown to interception ratio. And this is going to be crazy and it's going to be controversial. Sam Howell. Yes, Sam Howell. Yes, Sam Howell. They used to play for the Washington Commanders, went to Seattle Seahawks, and then wound up backing up for Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia. The NFL sees something in him. First round picks usually float around, but look, Sam Howell is another quarterback. Granted, he did start over Drake May for seniority. We know, but he's another one of those guys, man. And look, Drake May got a lot to work on, but Sam Howell, he's not afraid to let it go. He's not. And I look, and when you got that, he tried to fit in there, but look, I like Sam Howell, man. I think Sam Howell can bounce back, a quarterback who could bounce back in the NFL, kind of on the Sam Darnold type of level. I think so. If you look at it, if you ask me right now, what quarterback do you think that could have the best comeback out of everybody that's out there that's kind of floating around? I think Sam Howell is one of those names that I'm gonna mention. Just not afraid to throw the ball, and you can't be at that position. But I think he learned a lot from throwing those interceptions. I think he's seen a lot. All those interceptions that Jameis Winston throws, and Jameis Winston is still one of the best ball spinners in the NFL and still has a backup and still plays as a backup now today. So, I mean, come on. I mean, like, and I'm sure Jameis Winston will probably have another job if that's what he wants as a backup. But Sam Howell, I think, look, he's still young, still got a chance to redeem himself. Really hasn't gotten an opportunity to really get into games, like, too many games, but he can play. He can play, man. And that's a quarterback that's out there that I think that's a solid guy to get in there, and a solid backup, a very, very solid backup to have. And that's why I feel he went and got him, because if something was to happen with Jalen Hurts, I think that Sam Howell they would hope Sam Howell could come in there and play and repeat. But look, don't think he got too much of the opportunity here, but I think there's something there. And I wanted to say that because I knew it would be controversial. But y'all know how I always give it up, man. I always tell y'all, man, pray for yourself, pray for each other, pray for me, because I'm always praying for y'all, man. Tell me what y'all think down in the comments, man. Peace.